What's up, y'all? Honey Love here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 tips for potty training as a first-time parent. I'm also going to be talking about my own personal experience potty training my daughter because we're officially potty trained over here, okay? And on top of that, I want to talk a little bit too about elimination communication, how I really feel about it, and yeah. This video is really for first-time parents that are stressed out about potty training and don't know where to start, don't know what to do. I feel you because I was just right there in your shoes, and I wanted to make this video as a way to help out other first-time parents so they don't feel so stressed about the potty training process, because it's a lot more daunting and scary when you're just overthinking it, because it's honestly, once you get going into it and you're on the other side, you look back like, that was not that deep. Like, why was I so pressed about that? Because I know I was. So, the number 1 tip that I have for first-time parents potty training is wait until both you and your child are ready, not just one not just one of you guys. So if your child is expressing and showing signs that they're ready to be potty trained, that's one thing, but are you as the parent ready to start potty training? Because if you're not, then you got to prep yourself emotionally, physically for all of that. And it's the same vice versa. Like, if you as the parent are like, oh my gosh, I'm done with diapers, I'm ready to potty train my child, but your child isn't even showing any signs of readiness to be potty trained, then your best bet is to just chill out, wait a little bit, and wait until both of you kind of are ready for it together. Now, of course, that being said, don't make excuses for yourself as a parent, because that's what I was doing after a while. I was just making excuses, and it just got to the point where I was just like, all right, I just have to do it. All in, we're doing this, I'm dedicated, and I'll see y'all on the other side. So at some point, you gotta let go of the anxiety, let go of the fear, the worry, the doubt, all of that. You're gonna potty train your child. Everything's gonna be okay. There's gonna be stuff like bumps along the road, of course, just like anything in life, but you got this, just keep going. So the second tip that I have is be consistent. Inconsistency confuses toddlers especially. They're in a space like in their brains and in their lives where repetition is really important, because that's how they learn things. So as long as you're consistent with potty training, if you decide we're potty training, go all in. Don't kind of half potty train, stop for a week or two, go back for a day or two, stop again. Like, that's just going to confuse your child, and it's probably going to delay them even picking it up, because they're not going to even take it seriously because you weren't. So be consistent. So number 3 is expect accidents. Yeah, they're gonna happen. They're bound to happen. Your child is learning how to transition from being used to just pee and poop whenever, however, no matter where you're at, to now having to understand that there is a one specific type of place that they're going to be doing that at. So accidents are going to happen, and they're normal. The worst thing that you can do is shame your child for having an accident, because that's just going to stress them out, make them more just filled with anxiety when it comes to using the potty, and it can delay them being fully potty trained even more. So expect accidents. Take a breath, breather. Yes, it's annoying, but it's part of the process, and you just accept it and move on. And to be honest, I feel like from my personal experience, the longer that you wait to potty train your child, like when they're more in the 2-3-year-old range, I feel like the less accidents that you have during the potty training process. When you potty train children very young, and this is why I personally am not really a fan of elimination communication. I wasn't a fan of it, and I'll talk about that more later on in the video. But yeah, I just feel like when you wait longer, your child is more not only like mentally ready, they're more developmentally ready. Like, their body is actually at a place where they're able to hold in if they have the feeling of peeing or pooping. But all that to say, I feel like the later that you wait, the less accidents that you had. Not to say that there's going to be none, but the older that they are, the more they just grasp it quicker, because they don't want to be messy on themselves. They don't like that feeling of being wet or dirty. And on top of that, accidents are a good thing, because in order to learn just in life in general, you have to make mistakes, because then that's what you learn from moving forward. So it's the same with our kids. When we're potty training them, they have to make mistakes in order for us to teach them. It's a teaching moment so that they can learn, no, that's not the right way that we do it. This is the right way. And with repetition and consistency, they will pick up on it and they will stop with the accidents. And for the most part, you'll find that like the older that they are, the more times that they have accidents, it's more like a nighttime thing, just kind of almost an uncontrollable accident versus like playing and just peeing on themselves. Like my daughter's never really done that. Even when we were in the midst of potty training, like she wouldn't just stand there and pee on herself because she would hate that feeling. But you know, at the end of the day, be patient and compassionate with your kid. Don't shame them and expect accidents. So number 4 is to prepare your child and involve them in the process as much as possible. So what I mean by preparing them is reading books about potty training or reading books about using the potty. Start like bringing them into the bathroom with you and showing them what you're doing. Like, yeah, mommy's using the potty. This is where pee-pee and poo-poo goes when mommy goes to the bathroom. And that's what you're going to be doing soon. Like, diapers are for babies, so we're going to say bye-bye to the diapers and we're going to start using the potty. Prepare them. You can even do things like if they have dolls, having the doll use the little potty if they have one. Just showing them and acting out for them what it is that they're going to be doing. Because children, for the most part, they learn better when their parents are kind of or caregiver or whoever is involved in the process with them. So they learn by watching more than they do by you just telling them what to do. So when it came to me and my daughter, I just ended up I was reading this book, The First Time Parent's Guide to Potty Training by Jasmine McCoy, and she's on Instagram as the Mom Psychologist. She's on YouTube too. And this book, it was really easy, really laid everything out in a simple way. And yeah, so this is what I read to prep myself as the mom, and I'm going to talk about this book a little bit more once I talk about my experience after I go through these top 5 tips. But the book that I got for me and Lyra that I would read to her at nighttime was this one called Let's Go to the Potty, a potty training book for toddlers. And I'll link it down below, but this is what it looks like. And, you know, it's just a cute little book that just talks about, you know, you gotta say bye to diapers and time to potty train. So the 5th and final tip that I have for you all is to trust yourself and to remember that every single child is different and unique, and their potty training journey will also be different and unique. Do not listen to Karen in the Facebook group talking about how her daughter was potty trained at 9 months. Do not listen to your grandma telling you that 18 months old shouldn't be wearing diapers. Do not listen to whatever you have going on around you if you don't feel like it aligns with what you trying to do as the parent with your own child, because you know best, they know best. Trust yourself and do what is best for you and your family, because everyone is different. Even me, like, sharing my experience, I'm not saying that this is how every parent should go about it. This is me just sharing my experience to share for others to learn from, take tips from, things like that. Like, yeah, it's not about trying to potty train your child the fastest or the easiest way. It's about doing what you think is best for you and your family. Yeah, so now I want to talk about my experience with potty training this little munchkin, because I definitely consider her fully potty trained at this point. We do have accidents every now and then, but it's very far and few between, especially when I take precautions like limiting what she drinks at night, making sure she uses the bathroom before we go to bed, and even if she goes to the bathroom or like she goes to bed early or whatever, like waking her up at some point, having her go to the potty, and then have her go back to sleep. So yeah, those are the things that I do. But she doesn't wear any pull-ups anymore at all. She wears big girl undies all the time, 24/7 when she's not taking a bath or whatever, and doesn't need them anymore. And I would say in total, it took us to like daytime potty train, nap time potty train, and nighttime potty train a total of like 6 weeks. Because, you know, I read this book and they made it seem like on average, once you get daytime potty training, it takes about a year for them to master nighttime potty training. And this is again why I feel like it's beneficial to just wait until they're older, so developmentally they can actually hold their bladder for longer periods of time. Because yeah, like she was wearing pull-ups at night and every morning was waking up and they were dry, and I was just like, I'm wasting my money buying pull-ups. Like, we're done with this. And yeah, so we just stopped and it was cool. And plus, she didn't even like wearing pull-ups. She was at the point where she only wanted to wear her underwear anyway. So we just did, and it worked for us. So just going into why I personally don't advocate for elimination communication. It's something that I tried with her when she was younger, definitely more of a baby. And I found personally that it was just more work for me than anything else. I didn't feel like catching her cues to have her go into a bathroom when she wasn't even cognizant of what was going on. Because regardless, as a baby, she was going to go poop, she was going to go pee. She didn't care whether she was sitting over a toilet wearing a diaper or whatever the case may be. And it just got to be way too much work for me. So I chose to ditch the elimination communication. I also started reading and doing my own research just on it, and I learned a lot about how most children that they do elimination communication, they end up getting very confused because most of the time parents don't continue with it because it does become very frustrating. Every person that I know in my life that has that started off doing elimination communication eventually gave up, and their kid is just wearing diapers, and it's like, you could have just been doing this from the beginning and saved yourself a hell of a lot of time, I'm telling you. I mean, for those that it works for, but I just personally didn't, like, for the average person, I don't see it being like, it doesn't save you time, none of that. It's just a lot. And then, like I said, those kids are just too young to grasp it. So a lot of studies that have been done on kids that started with elimination communication or started potty training to like earlier versus those that waited until they were later, like 2, 3, they got, the ones that were 2 and 3, they got it quicker, and like once they got it, versus the kids that had been doing elimination communication, it took them a lot longer to learn how to potty train, and a lot of times they weren't becoming fully potty trained until they were like 4. So for my own personal journey, I just found that it wasn't going to work for me and my daughter, and I'm actually really happy that I waited, because Lyra, like, she just reached the age where she was at a space where mentally, developmentally, physically, she was ready. So all of those signs made it so much easier, and as such, like, just a simpler process, because the older they are, the more they grasp. Like, when you're potty training, even these kids as young as like 18 months, like, they're not fully at the stage that they can like fully understand what's going on. I mean, to each their own, and every child is different. As well as they're just developmentally not able to hold their bladder for long periods of time. So a lot of times when you potty train kids that young, you're the one that has to keep taking them to the toilet. Versus like when I was potty training Lyra, I didn't have to do that, like setting a timer, having her go every 20 minutes. Like, that's a lot. Lyra, we just did the pantsless. She just would let me know, potty, I gotta go potty. Or like she would start acting fussy, and that's when I would kind of know, like, let's go potty. So yeah, but to each their own. I personally wouldn't suggest it though. I would suggest waiting until they're at least 2 and go from there. Lyra started expressing readiness that she was ready to be potty trained when she started like not wanting to wear diapers anymore. She started taking off her diapers by herself. I remember for me, it kind of reached the point where I was done when she started taking off her diaper every time she would take a shit. And it was like, every time she would take a poop, she would take off her diaper, and it was just disgusting. So that's when I was like, yeah, it's time. But then also it would be like, she would not wear, because she didn't like wearing diapers after a while, and she would not wear them for long periods of time in the house, just be like naked from the waist down. And then she would bring me a diaper to put a diaper on her, and I would put a diaper on her, and she would use the bathroom. So at that point, I started to understand that she was like grasping like not peeing on herself and that it had to go somewhere. Once I finally reached readiness within myself, because she was ready, but it took me like a month or two after that for me to finally be like, yeah, I'm ready too. And like I said, I read this book, and I'll also link it down below, and it just helped me relieve myself of anxiety. It made me feel a lot more prepared. So I read this book, and then in the book it basically has like a 3-day guide for potty training, where basically you keep your kid without underwear on or pants on or anything on the bottom for like 3 days, and you just take them to the potty. And that's basically what I did. Is I kept her without bottoms, and like that she didn't have any accidents, I think, like the first 2 days, except for when it came to pooping. She like ended up pooping on the ground because she was still kind of freaked out by pooping in the toilet at that point. And yeah, and then after those 3 days, we started little by little, like trying little trips. Like I would take her outside for a little walk for 30 minutes in underwear. She wouldn't have an accident. And even sometimes if I knew I was going to be out for a long time, I would have her in a pull-up, but even then she would be dry the whole time. So that's when I knew, okay, we don't even have to do the pull-up. So I just did underwear, and we would just be out. And I would do like, grocery store for an hour, or running errands for 2 hours, going to the park for an hour, like little things like that. Then it was like going to her gymnastics class and everything. And like, she just grasped it, and she was really good. And I made sure that we would use the bathroom before we left, and also when we came back. So then shortly after that, the only time she was really wearing pull-ups, like I would say in total that took us about a week and a half. And I say that only because I remember she got sick like right after we started potty training, and then it was just like we kind of went backwards a little bit because she just wanted to be babied, and I just let her be babied, and I put her back in like pull-ups for those few days and everything. But then we went right back onto schedule, and she was good. And the only time she was wearing pull-ups was during nap time and bedtime. And then it got to the point where she didn't want to wear a pull-up during nap time. She wanted to wear her underwear because she really liked wearing her underwear, especially because the underwear I bought her were like Moana and Frozen, and those are her 2 favorite movies. So she was like, yeah, like she wants Elsa or Nana. That's what she calls Moana. So I was just like, okay. And I think she had like 1 accident, but I just always made sure to have her use the bathroom before nap time. And now it's like she never has accidents during nap time, because it's like it's only 1 or 2 hours that she sleeps, and I always have her use the bathroom beforehand. So she pretty much grasped nap time pretty quickly. And then I would say maybe after a month, we stopped with the nighttime, overnight pull-ups, because like I said, like every morning we were waking up, and I was taking the pull-up off, and it was always dry, and she would just go to the back. Like the first thing she would wake up is asked to go potty. So that's when I knew that she understood what we were doing, what was going on, and she didn't want to wear these pull-ups either. So then we just ditched the pull-ups. And like I said earlier, we've had a few accidents where she's peed the bed like in the morning time, because she probably has a dream or whatever. But for the most part, as long as I'm good about making sure she doesn't drink too late at night and having her go potty before bed, we pretty much don't have any problems. But once in a blue moon, we do. But it's normal, expected, and that's how we learn. So yeah, when you're ready to potty train, just do it. Don't hesitate. Don't doubt yourself. You got this. And just start. Because once you start, you get the momentum up, and you just keep going. And then eventually they'll be potty trained. It's bittersweet because it's just crazy how much my baby is just growing up and becoming more and more independent. And I realized a lot of the reason why I was hesitant to even start that process is because it was scary. It was scary going from her needing me in a particular way to not needing me anymore. Because even like after we finished breastfeeding, that was a whole nother thing. And it's just a lot. Like motherhood is very emotional sometimes, because once they don't need you in one way, they start to need you in a different way. So I'm just appreciating all of the parts of this journey and just doing my best to be present throughout it all. So that's that on that, y'all. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them if I can, or try and lead you in the right direction. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below, check out my other videos, all of that. Have a great day, y'all. Peace.